Good morning. How are we all doing? Shut up and listen to me. Now, just in case you're new here, this is a twin-turbo V10 diesel Nissan Patrol, and this is a microphone with an incredibly long cord. Because cables are back in, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Anyway, I built this car quite a long time ago, got it registered, got it road legal and everything in New South Wales, which everyone said was impossible. And then I disappeared. So, I'm going to take this opportunity at the beginning of the video to answer the question on all of your minds. And that question is...
where the hell have I been?
To add is that since I've been gone from YouTube, there have been no nuclear attacks worldwide. You're welcome. And we can figure out what the hell this video is going to be about. So yes, throughout this build, a lot of people have told me it'll never work, it'll never be reliable, it'll never do what it's supposed to do, and it'll never run properly, and it'll never be road registered. That was the last one. But all of those people have incredibly soft hands, and they've probably never built anything more complex than a Kinder Egg toy. And if you're an American, you can't anyway. It's quite interesting. Holding a microphone makes you more keen to say absolute bullshit on a video. Anyway, one of those key points actually happened. Reliability. But even though the people who called this out were somewhat right in the fact that it wasn't particularly reliable and it broke down, you're still the sort of people who wear shirts that are too small for you to make your arms look bigger because you're small and you're insecure about it. And we can now embark on the story of how this car broke down at the side of the road on the way to a camping trip. Would you look at that? Another shot for extra engagement. I went on a camping trip with these guys. But I didn't. But you should subscribe to them, because I didn't make it. I got about 45 minutes from the campsite, and then this car decided to pull over and die in a pile of electrical goodness. Anyway, it's an easy scene to recreate. Imagine this. Driving along happily, all the gauges working as they should, and then... all you get is this very out of focus thing. Focus on my hand, you rubbish camera. Well, that screen appeared, it wouldn't go away, and nothing else happened, and the car broke down. Yay. So I called a tow truck. And my tow truck range was 100 kilometers for free. And I was 98 kilometers away from the workshop. So things are starting to get good, as you can tell. So let's have another camera angle, and do some stuff, and open some things as if it's relevant to the content we're talking about. It isn't. So anyway, the tow truck gets back to my workshop, and then the tow truck breaks, and the hydraulics don't work, and I can't get my car off the vehicle. As you can see. So after fixing the hydraulics on the recovery vehicle for the guy, we finally get my car off, and I go home and sleep. Next day, the car just starts as normal, as if nothing's wrong and as if nothing's happened. And I then drove it for about 20 minutes and the exact same thing happened, in the most awkward possible place. So after U-hauling my car back to the workshop once again, here we are. I say here we are, the car's fixed and working perfectly again now, but let's find out what happened and how I fixed it. Mysteries. We can add a Wayne's World reference here.
Hi, I'm in Delaware.
So the next time you see this shirt again, we'll be at the outro to this video. So this is the much anticipated follow-up episode on what happened to my V10 after it got engineered. And it probably didn't go quite as expected, because currently, it's dead. Now naturally I've got a bunch of bastards who told me that I didn't take it off-roading enough. So here's that footage.
Too easy, mate. Oh, flexi boy. That's flex as well. So you go tired. Oh, nicely done. Rear locker works perfect.
And everyone should write in the comments how Isaac needs to film horizontally instead of vertical, like the Instagram sleuth that he is. Which leads me nicely onto how we ended up in the situation we're in today, with a non-working vehicle. And I've already started trying to repair it, but then I realized YouTube can pay for it instead, so let's make videos about it. The series of events leading up to this breakdown was basically driving along perfectly nicely, and then suddenly the dashboard just goes. And at the same time it popped a fuse. Replacing this fuse did not fix it. So I did a scan, didn't show anything particularly bad, and drove it around as normal, went to get lunch in the car. And then as I'm in the most awkward place on the way back to the workshop, the exact same thing happened again. So we have an intermittent electrical issue that seems to fix itself after about 24 hours, that randomly happens after about 20 minutes of driving or so. That makes it the best kind of electrical problem. Intermittent. So the entire dash came out. There it is. And then the entire wiring loom had to be dissected so that I could try and find any shorts in it. And here is where we start the journey today. As you can see, complete and utter wiring chaos that I'm sure all of you would love to deal with. And I've also managed to chop out about another kilo of wiring and a few modules that I thought I needed in the first place, but it turns out that I didn't. Here's that bundle of joy. Now the most frustrating thing is that after stripping all of this, I haven't found anything that seems obvious that there was actually a problem anywhere. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've redone every single junction piece in the entire loom like this. Now to the untrained eye, this might look like a simple twist and tape job. But this is what Volkswagen does from the factory. They will crimp this wire and then just put a bit of tape over the top of it. And if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. But I went the extra step. I've stripped off all the tape, I have soldered the joints, and then I've taped them up again. And that's across the entire thing. There's about 30 of these little junctions or whatever. And as you can see, I've begun the process of wrapping these wires again. And I've got this far. And on the passenger side, I've started taping up and getting everything where I want it to be, and routing it a little bit better than it was before. So let's do a little bit of magic as I try to loosely guide these wires where I want them to go. Step 1. Marvelous. Probably doesn't look that different because it doesn't. But at least all the routing of the wires is now defined and kind of located in a place. Driver's side still looks like absolute chaos, but all the wires are there and plugged in and yep. Let's see if it works. Now I'm not really expecting this to work because the fuse that keeps popping is a 10 amp fuse and I've run out of 10 amps. Don't want to put a 15 amp, so I've put a 7.5 amp. And we'll know as soon as this key turns. And there's no difference. And now if I take out that 7.5 amp fuse, we can see that it wasn't even blown. Turns out I was fiddling with the wrong fuse, so let's try again. Zero hope that this is ever going to work. And it's just going to blow the fuse again, and I'll be back to square one. Interesting. I think it's going to stop. Well, that was some unexpectedly good news. The car is now alive. Better put it back together again, hadn't I? So as it stands now, we're starting to look a bit more like a car than we did before, because before was a bit horrible, apart from over there. Let's check that out. And this is the remainder of my job for the day in terms of tidying up this garbage. Now that looks disgraceful, but you can go back and watch the other electrical video. This is a lot more tidy than it was before. And the main point of concern is this body control module. But I have a plan. But first, look how bloody tidy my passenger side fuse box situation is. So here's the plan. Take this, put it there, done. And once again, that's going to be done with a swish of a magic wand because I've realised how incredibly boring this episode is. But it's stuff that I've got to do, so I may as well get some ad revenue out of it. But here's how it came out, even though at the time of filming this I haven't done it yet. It's not pretty, but neither's your wife. Or your mum. So while I'm editing this video, I've realised that I didn't actually show anyone what's gone on with the thing that I just made. Clearly it made it home from the workshop. It's actually done about 1,500 kilometers since leaving there. It's got interior lights, it's got central locking. What's going on? Anyway, this is the thing that I made. That little bracket to hold that horrible body control module up in there. It's not the best fit in the world, but it does the job and it's not going anywhere. It's just not particularly aesthetic. I'd also like to add how marvellous my weird electric opening window thing is, which a lot of you would have seen at the Sydney show. And you would not believe how many rednecks had their tiny little minds blown by this weird little window. Completely bloody pointless. But at least it's polycarbonate now. So yep, car completely done. All the things doing the stuff. All the camping stuff in the back. There's a fridge somewhere in there as well, but you can't see it because fuck you. Back to the video. So as you can tell, this shirt's back again. That means this is the outro to the video. Better do some stuff. I'm sure you can see where this is going.